So, you want to be a developer? Choose HyperionDev.com.
There's going to be a new baby within the family. It's not a PlayStation 3. Okay. Sony Computer Entertainment will be launching new handheld entertainment platform in 2004. The name of this new platform is called PSP. Yes. There's
upload thumbnail.
There's going to be a new baby within the family. It's not a PlayStation 3. Sony Computer Entertainment will be launching new handheld entertainment platform in 2004. The name of this new platform is called PSP. Yes, PlayStation Portable. PSP is disc-based platform. A world where all kinds of entertainment like games, music, movies, and going to be fused together.
Ah, comment donc, ah, putain. Et c'est très mal.
The Walkman of the 21st century.
It may be the most addictive toy in history, and it's definitely the hottest thing this Christmas. Nintendo video games. They first arrived from Japan 3 years ago, and now millions of American kids are hooked and mesmerized. When they do stop to talk, it's in a language only they understand.
Nintendo spent a vast majority of their early years dominating the video game market. And while they did see some comparable competition in Sega when it came to home console units, Nintendo had a nearly 100% hold on the portable space. From the start of 1980 all the way to the early 2000s, there was essentially no competition that was able to make any meaningful push towards Nintendo. The Game & Watch was Nintendo's first real major success in the games business, and that led to the original Game Boy, which quickly became a household name. Nintendo didn't rest on any laurels either. The Game Boy Color came along to invigorate sales, then the true successor, Game Boy Advance. But as Nintendo felt a cool breeze of success in the handheld space, Sony was soon becoming a major player in the video game market with the PlayStation, a console which inherently would not have existed without Nintendo to begin with. Nintendo was originally going to partner with Sony for a CD-ROM drive add-on for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, which would be called PlayStation. Nintendo then backed out of that deal without telling Sony and instead partnered with Philips, which was announced at the Consumer Electronics Show in 1991. Sony then attempted to continue working on a games platform with Sega, but they also swiftly denied any partnership. And while at the time Sony CEO Norio Oga was initially skeptical about getting involved in video games, this betrayal is what led to Sony going ahead with developing the PlayStation on their own. And sure enough, come 1994 and beyond, the PlayStation saw meteoric success, finally giving Nintendo intense pressure in the home console market, and pretty much forcing Sega out of hardware entirely. Then comes the early 2000s, where the PlayStation 2 launches, and easily becomes one of the most sought-after consumer electronics. At this point, Nintendo and soon Microsoft are doing what they can to find their place in the home console market, but Nintendo is still comfortably enjoying success with portables by launching the Game Boy Advance in 2001, which sees strong sales and consumer interest.
Game Boy Advance, console quality gaming anywhere.
However, the world is left wondering when Sony will make a true portable PlayStation. Sony only dabbled slightly in releasing the Pocket Station in 1999, which was more of an add-on peripheral to the original PlayStation. It functioned as a memory card that could also display additive content for certain games. It sold quite well with over 5 million units, but was only released in Japan. It never quite made it anywhere else due to Sony not being able to keep up with demand. But with PS1 and 2 doing so well, it seemed natural for everyone to expect that Sony should release a handheld. And rumors amongst the video game industry seemed sure that was indeed what Sony was up to. It was more a matter of, when is it going to come? What is it going to look like? Can Sony translate their home console success into a bite-sized experience? Can another company finally come in and offer a real alternative to Nintendo handhelds? Sony finally announces development of a portable gaming device at E3 2003.
The name of this new platform is called PSP. Yes, PlayStation Portable. It's simple. The baby is in the incubator at the moment, and even the father of the baby, I can bring him out of the incubator. But as a family member, he has the same DNA. PSP is a disc-based platform, same as PlayStation and the PlayStation 2. He is the Walkman of the 21st century.
PSP, the Walkman of the 21st century. Most journalists attending the conference did not even expect such an informal announcement of Sony's new portable, but most were incredibly impressed with the details SCE President and CEO Ken Kutaragi shared. The device would use a miniature optical disc called UMD, short for Universal Media Disc. They would be able to hold up to 1.8 gigabytes of data while being less than half the size of a standard CD or DVD. This was an incredible feat for its time, not only due to its size and storage capacity, but also that they were going to be used outside of games. PSP would support MPEG-4 and other unannounced codecs with DVD image quality. Ken Kutaragi was also keen on pointing out the security of UMD.
Along with the latest security system, will be employed to prevent piracy. It's very important.
The portable was also described as having near PS2 quality graphics, being powered by a 90nm semiconductor technology and a MIPS 32-bit core. The device would feature a 4.5-inch backlit display, include 3D sound, and have a button layout similar to current DualShock controllers. The memory stick would be utilized for game storage, and the system would run on a rechargeable lithium-ion battery. The biggest promise, however, was connectivity. PSP would be able to connect to your computer, your PS2, and of course other PSP systems for multiplayer games. The conference closed out with no physical hardware being shown, but a promise that the PSP would be the all-in-one portable device you'll want to take everywhere with you.
Thank you very much for attending this meeting. Enjoy E3.
Enthusiasm is high in the gaming community. Despite no hardware being shown, the description of the device plants it far ahead of anything else available in terms of graphics and multimedia function. And with Sony having such a strong hold in the home console market, many are certain that the PSP, whatever it turns out to look like, is probably going to be a huge success. About 6 months later is when the world would get their first look at the PSP, when Sony holds a corporate strategy meeting in early November. Most of the meeting is focused on Sony Corp's overall strategy, and not necessarily PlayStation or PSP for that matter. But concept images of the PSP were released, and the early images were slightly concerning in that it appeared all the buttons were flat and completely flush with the surface of the system. It also looked as though there was no analog stick present. The back, however, looked pretty standard, featuring the UMD drive and a chrome ring accent. Thankfully, these were just concept images subject to change, because it wouldn't be until E3 2004 where the PSP has its formal announcement and reveal.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the latest addition to the PlayStation family.
PSP is officially demonstrated on stage during Sony's 2004 E3 press conference. The portable is sleek and compact with a glossy black finish. It's visually stunning and tantalizing to the room. SCEA President and CEO Kaz Hirai opens the PSP presentation by discussing the overall proposal and goal of PSP. At the time, E3 was more of a trade show for retailers and investors, to better understand how the product will fit in the current market and how successful it can potentially be. Kaz went over the target demographic of PSP, which would mainly focus on males aged 18 to 35 with disposable income. He mentions that PSP will feature a wide array of peripherals that will be sold separately, and spends a portion of the show discussing UMD Video, demonstrating the unit playing a trailer for the upcoming movie Spider-Man 2. However, Kaz made it very clear that games were the killer app for PSP, and played a sizzle reel of upcoming games that the world can expect.
Puro-puro si joystick.
Everything is go.
With games like Need for Speed, Ape Escape, Metal Gear Acid, Wipeout, Tiger Woods, Ridge Racer, and so much more, it was now abundantly
This video is sponsored by the Ridge Wallet. My name is Steve. I'm here because you broke something, and this time it's an Xbox One Elite 2 controller. I paid $99 for this controller on eBay. Now I'm gonna see if I can figure out what's wrong and see if I can fix it. So I've already got it out of the packaging it came in. Let's open it up and see exactly what condition it's in. Okay, it actually looks like it's in really good condition. It's definitely dirty. Needs a good cleaning for sure. You can see it's got all kinds of stuff here, but other than that, oh. That definitely picked up a lot of smoke smell. So that's gonna be a big problem on this. I'm gonna have to disassemble this entire thing to get all the smoke smell off of the case, and I'm hoping I can even do it. Sometimes the smoke smell just doesn't come out of things. So that's the first thing I noticed. Let's take a look and see if there's anything else we can notice. All the little buttons and everything seem to work normally. Obviously I haven't plugged it in yet. I'll plug it in a minute and see. It wouldn't surprise me if these analog sticks were bad. Other than that, it actually all seems pretty good. Do we have all the parts to it? Got these. Yeah, it looks like we do have all the parts for it. It's always handy. These little parts sometimes cost a lot of money to replace, so this little piece that goes right here looks like it actually popped out, so I'm just gonna put that on real quick. There we go. Okay. So initial impressions, this actually looks in good condition. The smoke smell is going to be a big problem, but I think I can get that taken care of. I'll have to disassemble the whole thing, clean it all really well, and then that should take care of the smoke smell. But first, I'm going to plug it into a gamepad tester just to see what exactly is wrong with this, so then we can get any of the other problems fixed. So I've got this controller set up and connected to a gamepad tester. I'm going to check thumbsticks first because that's usually what the problem is. Although that thumbstick is perfect. Let's check the right thumbstick. The right thumbstick is also perfect. Okay. Right trigger, left trigger. Oh, we don't have anything on the shoulder buttons. We have no input from any of these buttons. Okay, the X button works. So it seems we have no input from any of these buttons right here, the ABXY buttons, and also the D-pad. So let me try the buttons underneath. Also seem to get nothing there. So I'm gonna check and see what the seller said was wrong with this. I don't even remember what it was. I should have checked that first, but I'm gonna check it now and see what the seller said and see if we can replicate that here. Here is the description for this controller. The item is not working as it should. Device has wear from being used. Buttons on the controller do not work, or when they do work, they do not work as they should. Items are being sold for parts or repair. So the seller description isn't super descriptive. I'm gonna try a couple other tests on this and see if I can trace down the problem before we get it taken apart. So I'm using one other tester just to make sure that there's no issue with the tester itself. So when I look at this tester, all the same things happen. Once we get to these shoulder buttons or the ABXY buttons, there's just nothing at all going on. So I think at this point, it's time for everyone's favorite part. Let's take it apart. Okay, and...
What about you, man? Send the link in the chat. I'd like to react to that. I do play Fortnite as well, so... not a lot, but you can send it in the chat. And I'll react to it.
Believe it or not, this is actually the first time I've taken apart an Xbox Elite 2 controller. I'm guessing it must come apart
Send
right
it in the
here.
chat, bro.
That is just a guess, though.
We'll go.
Whew. Okay, that was actually a little bit nerve-wracking. I can't remember the last time that I've taken something apart that I've never taken apart before. I think it's been a while. Okay, but we're in. Now it's time to remove these screws, it looks like. Then we can get under this piece, see what we have going on in here. It looks like that is a Torx T9. Looks like we have some sort of warranty sticker. Oops. We don't need no stinking warranty anyways. This video is brought to you by the Ridge Wallet. It's light, sleek, and industrial. Love it, but don't take my word for it. There's over 30,000 5-star reviews. As you guys know on this channel, I love to take things apart. One of my favorite things about this Ridge Wallet is I can actually take it apart. It actually even comes with extra screws right in the box. I can remove this money clip if I'd like to, or I can add another money clip on the front of the wallet as well. Another thing I love is that the Ridge Wallet is made with RFID blocking technology that protects me from digital pocket pickers. That's not something I had to think about back when I bought my first wallet, but it's certainly something I have to think about now. Get 10% off today with free worldwide shipping and returns by going to ridge.com/TronicsFix. That's ridge.com/TronicsFix and use the code TronicsFix at checkout. The top link in the description will take you right there. There we go. Okay, let's take a look at these contacts real quick. There's a little bit of corrosion right in there. Let me show you that. There we go. So there's a little corrosion there. I doubt that's enough to cause a problem, but since there's corrosion there, most likely there's more corrosion in this thing. So this is looking like probably some sort of liquid damage, and we definitely have some liquid damage. There's not a lot so far. We've got liquid damage on these components, maybe some down here, and maybe some right here. Some of this stuff is totally normal, this white looking stuff. Sometimes that's totally normal, but this definitely is not. And this board right here seems to be the board that was having the biggest problem. So I'm actually going to take this board off, and then we'll take a look at this blue board underneath of it. All right, now on the regular Xbox One controllers, there's a connector here. Feels like it's the same on this one. So, don't know if I can pull this all the way out. We got the headphone jack that fell out, that's normal. So I'm just not getting enough clearance here to get this green board out. I'm not sure how to take these trigger switches off, but I think I might need to take this screw out down here and down here. So I'm gonna try that next. I don't know if that removes them or not. There is a pin down in there that I might need to take out, but let's see if this does anything. When in doubt, take out more screws, right? Okay, let's see what that did. Oh, there we go. That's what I was hoping. Okay. That whole thing just came apart, all right. Means we should be able to do the same with this one. Hopefully, there we go. Yep, got it. Okay, now can we lift this out? Okay, the problem seems to be this analog stick cover right here doesn't actually fit through this blue motherboard. You can't really see very well, but this hole down here is just too small. So I've got to take this off first. I am not totally sure it comes off. It must come off. I've never tried that with these before. On normal controllers, it's actually pretty easy to get these off. On this one, it is not. Okay, yeah, it unscrews. I can hear you yelling at me in the comments. Yes, I should have known that, but I didn't, okay? So these unscrew from the analog stick on the motherboard. That's actually a good sign. That means that these analog sticks are probably upgraded over the normal ones. Either way, we have that off. Now we should be able to get that motherboard out. Now we should be able to get this green motherboard at least out enough to get a look at this blue motherboard underneath. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's better. Now it's not going to come out all the way. We do have these gray wires still attached. But this should give us at least an idea of what might be going on under here. Yep, definitely some liquid damage there, as well as some liquid damage over here. I am going to remove this blue motherboard so we can get a full look under here and see if we can see any other liquid damage under here. I do also want to say real quick, if you're having analog stick issues with drifting analog sticks, this is normally the part that needs to be replaced. Sometimes you can just take some canned air and blow in here, and then also some IPA and brush in there and try and get all the dirt and debris out. But usually these just need to be replaced. And to do that, you actually have to heat up all these little solder points right here until that analog stick falls out the bottom, and then you can put a new analog stick up in there and then redo all the solder joints. So it's definitely not an easy job, definitely not for someone that doesn't know how to solder, but that's how you do it. Okay. I think we can just pull this out. It's got this metal stud in the back here. And then still attached up front here too. There we go. Okay, let's see. Actually, it's not in too bad a shape. This definitely needs to be cleaned. This is worrisome. We got like some rust around this switch. We'll get that cleaned up though and see if that will still work. Other than that, this doesn't look to be in too bad a condition. Maybe a little bit of liquid damage on this chip. But overall, this looks pretty good. Now, while I'm in here, I will remove all these buttons and clean them all. Since we're here, we might as well just do a full refurbishment of this controller. Now that I have all those buttons nice and clean, it's time to take a look at the motherboard. And for that, I'm gonna need a microscope so I can really see what's going on. So I'm gonna get under the microscope and let's see how bad the liquid damage is. So here we have a little bit of liquid damage. And over here we have even more liquid damage. Nothing here, this looks good. Looks good under there. And here we go, some more liquid damage. right here. Possibly liquid damage under this chip, so we'll need to clean that up with a toothbrush. And that's it for this side. I'm going to turn this board over and we'll check the other side. So here's the other side of the board. Right away I see some pretty serious liquid damage here. Looks like these thumbsticks could use a good cleaning. A little more liquid damage here. And a tiny bit up here even. Even got one pin on this connector right here that looks like it's got some damage. So for this sort of liquid damage, the first thing I'm gonna do is take my dental pick and just try and clean up all the little joints. And then I'll take my toothbrush with some 99% isopropyl alcohol, clean that all up, and then we'll turn it over and do the same thing on the other side of the board. And then I'll make sure the board is fully clean to get off any smoke residue. Then it'll be time to reassemble the controller. So I'm just gonna be removing this corrosion with my dental pick. This helps me see the joints better to see how the solder looks. And then also obviously just gets the corrosion off. One of the main problems with this type of corrosion is it can actually separate the chip from... Okay, now that I'm mostly done with cleaning the corrosion off with my pick, I'm gonna go through with a toothbrush and some IPA and just really get in there with the bristles and clean it all even better. And here you can see how well that looks. This is what it looks like when you have minor corrosion. If any of these solder joints were bad or any of these little traces like these torn up, then I would have to repair those. But here you can see all the solder joints look good. All of them are shiny. None of them have been eaten away by the corrosion. So I'm gonna finish cleaning up the rest of the spots, see how they look, and then we can get this controller back together. So this green motherboard is looking pretty good. I do have to still clean the blue motherboard. Then I also have to clean off the rest of the controller and get as much of the smoke smell out as I can. Then we can test it and see if it works and put it back together. Now this board is looking pretty good. I think it's time to install it back into the controller. Enough so we can test it. Then we got to clean the controller and put it all back together. So this should be together enough to test it. I'm going to plug it in and see if these buttons work now. Okay, it does come up on the screen. Let's check the analog sticks. Okay, those do work. Trigger buttons work. Let's try the A button. No, still doesn't work. So unfortunately there's something else wrong with this. I'm thinking it's probably this chip right here, as there was some liquid damage on that, and if the liquid damage is underneath the chip, that's going to cause a problem. This chip is a ball grid array chip, also known as a BGA chip, which means there's solder balls underneath this chip. So I think what I'm going to try and do is reflow this. So I'm going to heat the chip up with my hot air soldering station until the solder flows. Then I'll let it cool back down and then we'll see if it works. So here is my sort of strange reflow setup for this chip. I have my silicone heat mat that is protecting the rest of the controller. I have Kapton tape protecting any sensitive components on the board. So now I'm going to bring in some flux and put it all around the chip. That will help the solder flow underneath the chip. Then I'm going to heat the chip up until I can nudge it just a little bit. That'll tell me that the solder is fully melted. Then I'll let it cool down and put it all back together and test it again. And now this chip has been reflowed. Now I'm gonna get it back together enough to test it and see if that's restored the function of this board. You probably noticed this plastic piece right here did melt a little bit, but the components underneath are fine. There's no problems there. So even though that did melt a little bit, it's gonna be just fine. So now I'm gonna get it back together and see if it works. Now I've got it back together enough to test. Checking it out right here on the gamepad controller tester. And unfortunately, none of the buttons are working, just like they weren't before. So now it's time to diagnose this a little bit further. I have a feeling that chip that I just reflowed may need to be replaced. So let's look at it a little closer and see if we can figure anything else out that might be causing the problem. So I was thinking that it might have been this chip, but looking at it further, these analog sticks work fine. Seems like everything on this part of the board works mostly fine, and a lot of things on this board do not work fine. The USB port works fine, and the Xbox X button works fine, but a lot of the other functions do not. These buttons work fine, while these buttons don't work fine. So it may be something on this board. It still could be that chip, but I got some diagnosing to do now. So I've been looking at this blue board, and I just noticed this chip right here that definitely has some more liquid damage here and along these pins. So I suspect this because when we turn it over, these are all the buttons that don't work, these guys right here. And this chip is directly underneath those buttons. So I think those buttons are controlled by this chip, and this chip reads them, so I'm guessing maybe this is our only problem. I'm gonna clean this up, and I don't think I need to reflow it just because the joints actually look fine, but there are some bridges over here. So I might need to run my iron over these. I'll take a closer look once I get it clean, and then we can test it again. Now it's sort of hard to see here, but if you look, this joint it looks like sort of some rust on it, and so does this one. So I'm actually gonna take my iron and go along these and clean these joints up. If there's a break in the joint right here, or if it's rusted through, then this chip is not getting a good connection with the pad on the motherboard. So after I get these resoldered, then I'll go through and test it again, and hopefully that'll fix it. And I went through and just redid every joint on this chip just to make sure they're all good. So now I feel pretty confident that this chip is soldered on correctly and each pin is making contact. So I'm gonna put this back together enough to test it and see if we got it figured out. Okay, it's back together enough to test it. I've got it plugged in to the gamepad tester. Let's try one of these buttons. Oh, hey, there we go. That's totally working. That button works. That button works. That's it, we fixed it. So this Xbox Elite 2 controller is working great. If you want to see more controller repair videos, I'll put a playlist up on your screen so you can go hang out with me over there and see if I can fix those. Thank you again to Ridge.
Oh, I've got some sodas.
Stop. Yeah. Stop.
Ouch.
Think about what you're doing. I mean, you wouldn't ignore customers in a...
This video is sponsored by JLC PCB. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 ways to fix analog stick drift. This video.
Ooh,
How cool would it be to be able to remap your own PS4 controller? That's something I've thought to myself quite often. So when the team at Extreme Rate reached out to me and asked if I wanted to make a video about their DIY remap kit for the PS4 controller, I said, sign me up. So this video is sponsored by Extreme Rate. Now when I heard about this DIY remap kit, naturally I had some questions. Is it gonna work? How hard is it gonna be to install? Today we're gonna be tackling those questions by installing it on this brand new blue camo PS4 controller. Now you do need the 2nd generation controller, so any of the new ones you buy in the store will be the 2nd generation with the light bar on the touch bar. The remap kit comes in a little box like this. Let's take it out and see what all is included. Okay, so first of all, we have our back case. Let's take a look at this. The problem that I see with a lot of these back plates is that they're not made very well. This actually looks, from what I can tell, it's made pretty well. We'll know when we snap it back on to the controller, but there's no extra pieces of plastic and stuff. I've seen a lot of the cheapo ones that got you got to clean it all up before you install it. This one, at least so far, looks pretty good. So we've also got this guy here, and this guy here. And it looks like in this one are all of the internal components. Yeah, there we go. So this is the main board for this entire remap kit right here. These are the buttons. And then we've got this ribbon cable we'll need to install. Now, from my understanding, this ribbon cable, you don't actually have to do this part if you don't want to remap the touch bar. I do want to do that, so I will be installing this. I'll be soldering this on. So I'll show you guys how to do that.
Also the press, and that's what happened. We learned a fair amount of things today, nothing too crazy. I think most importantly, we actually got to see the console and some high quality shots and video. That's great. No UI, unfortunately. However, we did have some leaks come out recently over the weekend that we can talk about, so we'll go over everything. Now, if you do recall when we talked about the original announcement of this event about 2 weeks ago during a Let's Talk PlayStation episode, I did say, look, it's Japan, there's nothing wrong with that, it's a big market, that's very important for Sony, just that, well, if we see major substantial news, it's not going to come out of there, it's got to come out of the US PlayStation channels, their Twitter, the main PlayStation blog that will go out to everybody, so I wouldn't expect UI or anything like that. Either that information would come before this date, which it didn't, or we'd see more of the same. And on the surface, that is actually what we got. The Japanese YouTubers had access to Astro's Playroom, Godfall, Devil May Cry, just a lot of gameplay for that, and that's really more of the same. They talked a little bit about sensations of the DualSense controller, but if you really pick through all of this, and certainly some of the articles that followed up, this is where we learn a lot more about the platform, and obviously the cool thing is to really see the console itself close up and all these high quality shots. But let's go over everything so far. So obviously the console itself, right, we get to see it in a more formal setting. If you didn't know, that centerpiece right there is very glossy, and the system is quite large. We went over the dimensions I think 1 or 2 weeks ago as well. The official dimensions are out, so if you got a tape measure you can figure out how large this thing really is. There's some AR apps out there floating around to place the console in your home, and a lot of them are really getting the mark wrong, and some people think that they're actually genuine. That's not the case. The system's not that massive, but yes, it's still quite large, and so you might have to consider that for your particular play area. But anyway, a few channels took the time to really take a close-up look at it on video, and for some of these high-quality shots, the images are from 4Gamer.net, also Dengeki Online, and Famitsu. So no UI, like we mentioned there. This is a very controlled setting. Famitsu even confirmed they didn't even get a chance to experience it. It was very much Sony Interactive Entertainment handling this from all aspects of where this was filmed, how the games were presented. Now, they got to play the games, of course, just that portion was not ready to be displayed, obviously. But anyway, the access here was playing Astro's Playroom, Godfall, DMC5, and one thing I'm seeing a lot of people question initially about the footage that we're seeing is that, are those PS5 units on the desk or really that one singular console? Is that a dummy unit? Doesn't look like it's on or anything like that. Are they actually playing games on that hardware? So they actually are. It is plugged in. You can see that from certain angles. But the reason why you're not seeing any indicator lights on the system like a PlayStation 4 is because it just is like a PlayStation 4. I think we're all getting caught up in the ambient blue light that we constantly see in the product shots. But this is just like a PlayStation 4 in that that's only during a boot up or shutdown in operation.
I'm a top author on the 3DView platform, and on my YouTube channel I share free 4X 3D education and analysis every
it's a white light. Now if you look at the setting, it's overly exposed in white, and the console itself is white, and so you're not going to see that backlight against the white shell of the console. You'd have to be in a very dark room actually to probably get that small little bit of light pollution. But from certain shots, you can actually see that the light is not as prominent, and it can pulsate with intensity. So During operation, that's probably set on the lowest setting possible, so it really doesn't create any light pollution if you do, for example, play your PlayStation 5 in a dark room, which is nice. You don't really want this thing to be glowing from the center of your room. Speaking of lights, we did get to see how the DualSense signifies and handles multiple players. So, for example, with DualShock 4, we know that we have different color changes, right? Now, that's kind of the same deal here. You'll get different color changes on the backlight portion of that touchpad, but on the bottom of the touchpad, you see that one white LED, and we've seen this previously. You'll actually get 2 of those for player 2, 3 for player 3, 4 for player 4. That's how DualSense is going to handle different players, and color changes are also expected there as well. The DualSense button presses are apparently very quiet. Now, this is good considering there is a mic directly on the controller. If you don't know, there is a microphone there. And the last that we really heard about this microphone on the DualSense was initial concerns of, okay, well, you could use this. It may not be ideal, but if you do use it, this might be very intrusive to the person on the listening end of it, right? Because they're just going to hear you mashing buttons on the controller. And what we heard is that the mic is actually directional. It's more focused on zeroing in on your voice and avoiding all other unintended noises and things like that. And so I would imagine that in combo with the fact that the controller might be very quiet just from accepting inputs, well, that would go a long way with making the mic a lot more usable day to day if you don't want to put on a headset or something like that, right? It's just going to be more accessible if you don't have a headset available to you right away. Now, for this next detail, it might seem very minor to you, in all likelihood, unless you live in Japan or you're used to importing Japanese consoles. But if you don't know, in Japan, for the history of PlayStation, X and circle are actually swapped. Not physically on the controller, but rather their inputs or what's commonly accepted for their inputs. So here in the West or US, Europe, everywhere else in the world where you can buy a PlayStation, X is commonly go, accept, forward, circle is normally going back or cancel, unless we're talking PS2, PS1, where triangle was also commonly used. That sometimes trips me up whenever I go back and play those games, but anyway, circle's usually back here in the West. Well, in Japan, circle is accept or go forward, X is going back. The big change here is that in Japan, this will be swapped over to what everywhere else in the world is used to, X being go, circle being back. And again, it might not be huge to you, because I don't have any Japanese viewers, or unless you import Japanese consoles, but this is a big change, and I would imagine that Japanese gamers that will play on PlayStation might have a tough time adjusting to that, because even though I have a lot of Japanese systems, and I somewhat irregularly play on them, it always gets annoying. It's hard, it's a muscle memory thing, you're just so used to it, especially if you've been playing on these consoles for a very long time, so that's actually kind of a big deal. But anyway, going back to the actual games that were demonstrated, this is something where we've seen, it's more of the same, right? So there's not a whole lot that we really learned here, but instant retries, for example, right? We got that fast SSD coming in where whether you die on Astro's Playroom or Godfall, you're right back in the game fairly quickly. Fairly quickly, so that's good to see in practice, right? I mean, to be fair, we saw a lot of Astro's Playroom, and there's so many PlayStation nods in here that I can't wait to go through it. It's really getting me psyched up. But Astro really is that showcase game. Remember, pre-installed for free on every single PlayStation 5. Some of the impressions we're hearing this time around, just that those different sensations you feel when you're walking on certain material, it's almost immediate of how you can feel it. So whether it's sand, ice, metal, you can tell right away through the haptics of the DualSense. An example in Godfall that I found pretty notable is if you have a shield in your left hand and a sword in your right in-game, and you block with the left, you feel a vibration or an intensity from just the left side of the controller. And that's interesting to have that asymmetric experience. We also heard something like that from, I believe, Spider-Man Miles Morales. One of the moves you can do in the game will have a sensation that goes from the right to the left, and so that might be interesting in practice. But anyway, the one thing that a lot of people have been waiting to hear about for PS5 is the console's fan noise, operation noise, heat from the machine, and we do have some impressions here, and it seems like it's very good. Now, granted, they didn't have much time to play the console. However, what we're hearing initially, very good, so we have a lot of lengthy quotes to go over here. Now, keep in mind, this is direct Google Translate, so it's going to sound a bit off. But the general idea is there, and it gets across fairly well. This one comes from 4gamer.net, where it says, "What is the temperature of the main body with the cooling mechanism of PS5? I started playing one of the launch titles, Godfall, and after a while I checked it, but the wind coming out of the exhaust was gentle and it didn't feel extremely hot. At this time, the temperature of the studio was about 30 degrees. For From the specifications of the installed SoC, it is considered that it operates at around 55 to 60 degrees. When it comes to that, you might think, isn't the noise so great? But the opposite is true. As mentioned above, the exhaust was gentle, and I could hardly hear what seemed to be the rotating noise of the fan. So what they mentioned there is that the room was 30 degrees Celsius, about 85 Fahrenheit, because of the lighting in the room. That gets very hot when you have large studio lights out. I can attest to that, even though it was actually shot in the basement. And the way that that's actually phrased, because that could get misconstrued, he's just trying to get across that you might think this thing would run hot and that you would think it would be very loud, but that wasn't the case. He goes on further to state, I introduced the development machine this time, but when I summarized the PS5 that I actually saw, the balance between specs, appearance, and price was strange, and it was a finish that made me want to say that it would be too cheap. I could only look at the PS5 itself, but I'm relieved that the exhaust, heat, and noise aren't noticeable. If anything, I was surprised at the good finish of the DualSense. Now, over on AV Watch, we have this quote where it says, at that point, I noticed that the operating noise of the main unit is also very quiet. I forget it because I concentrate during gameplay, but it didn't make a roar when I went near the main unit. The PS4's fan noise became more noticeable as soon as the load increases, but the PS5 impression is less noticeable. Of course, I didn't really focus on fan sound only in a strict environment. Even if you put your ears close to the back of the body, it only sounds like, oh, fans are turning over. Therefore, subjectively, the impression that it has become much quieter is not a mistake.
Centrum Active helps to...
It's also worth noting that 4Gamer.net noticed how, when the console's in a vertical orientation, air is going into the top of the system and then it's dissipating from the rear. And actually, if you do look at the top of the console, you can see what looks like those white clips that protrude out. If you remember, we had some pictures leak a while ago with those protruding clips, and we had a recent one also alongside those UI leaks that we'll be getting to here in a second. And potentially that might be where you could access removing this thing if you had to, for what may be the place where you put in the SSD. Again, we don't have any details or confirmation on that right now, just an observation. Well, so far so good, right? Although this was an expectation going into it. It would have been really bad if we had poor results in this area, considering that from the Road to PS5 event, we know that this is one of the key principles of PlayStation 5. One of the reasons why it has those variable frequencies for the GPU and CPU, while it may run at the top end pretty much most of the time, when it will dip, that's in relation to a set power limit of the system. This is when Mark Cerny was discussing the problems of something like PlayStation 4 Pro, the ambient temperature of your room, and how that can kick up the fans for the console very easily, and why it was such an issue for that machine throughout all of its life cycle. But with PlayStation 5, despite the ambient temperature of the room, despite however that game is made, everybody will have the same experience playing through it, as if there's no major difference for the noise operation. So that is encouraging to hear, but now we're hearing about it from these impressions. Now, as we mentioned, no UI, and I think we all knew that was going to be the case. A formal reveal of the UI will be global and on Sony's terms, but what we did see just a few days ago, some pictures and video leak online of what looks like the PlayStation 5's UI. We got about a 20-second clip of the console apparently booting up, probably from a complete cold boot. So it was totally shut down, and then you can see it starting up, and we get what we saw was the initial boot up that was teased during the See the Future event, and then some pictures showing what looks like the storage management, also possibly just the general home screen. And from what little that we can see, usable storage, 664 gigabytes, somewhere around there. Remember, some of that's going to get eaten up by the OS, and PS5 already is slightly lower than the standardized 1 terabyte size that we see in other products. Looks like Astro's Playroom takes up about 2 gigabytes. That's not very large, and we know that's just pre-installed. It's not a huge deal. But the other home screen, you can see that it looks slightly tiered. It's using the same flow and design of what we saw from the See the Future event. One of these has a cursor in it, so that might tell you that this was a picture on a screen. Not necessarily, oh, it's fake right away. It could be a screenshot on a monitor that was then, a photo was taken candidly of it, and they always look like UFO sightings, these pictures. But one of them, or in the video we saw that black DualSense prototype, everybody's asking, is it real, is it fake? Here's the thing, we've had UIs pop up the past few months, but they're all concept UIs. They're masquerading as the real deal or a leak, but you can tell a mile away they're not genuine.
Stop. Yeah. Stop.
Ouch.
Think about what you're doing. I mean, you wouldn't ignore customers in a real store. So stop doing it online. Start
genuine. This looks like the most realistic leak we've had so far for a few reasons. That black prototype DualSense controller, we've actually seen that before and talked about it on Let's Talk PlayStation. The same mismatched buttons, the same shade of black, looks very similar. Of course, the general design of this thing looks similar to the See the Future event teased intro UI. But the one screenshot where it shows the tiered content, so there's an item up top and potentially on the bottom you're looking at screenshots or photo albums or whatever that particular item might be. It's one on PlayStation 4 right now. I think that's the capture gallery. Either way, you've got that tiered look, and this is not the first time we've seen this as well. We've actually seen this during the 4chan leaks from a long time ago, where it had more of a PS4 dress on it, if you will, right? Where it could disguise what is now supposed to be the real look of this user interface, right? So the general navigation of the system was there, but not necessarily how it was supposed to be presented. And then we had actual patents from Sony Interactive Entertainment. Now this is directly from Sony, where it has that same tiered design. I even did a video called Things People Are Missing or Overlooking About PS5 after that See the Future event, and we connected the dot there in that video. That might be the general look and feel of the UI. It's not guaranteed or anything, but it's the best guess that we have so far. And so for something like this particular leak that came out online, I know it's easy to look at it and go, oh, it's fake because it looks like that standard UFO sighting. But, I mean, out of all the things we've seen so far, this one is the most compelling. Having said that, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't yet, please subscribe for the best PlayStation news, reviews, and updates that are here on YouTube. You can follow me on Twitter at Mystic Ryan, and that is it. I will see you all in my next video. You take it easy. Okay, everyone, we have another random eBay lot find. I know you all love this, and I'm very excited about this one because we have about 40 games total across a number of platforms, random, of course. What drew me to this one, though, is that the seller promised $200 in value based on current prices on PriceCharting.com. Now, I only paid $71 for this. So just for some context, we'll go over the listing. It says, random lot of 20 games we pulled from multiple systems: PlayStation, PS2, 3, Xbox, Xbox 360, Atari, and Wii. No duplicates, that's great news. Guaranteed no more than 4 sports titles, that's awesome. Guaranteed at least $100 in value based on the current PriceCharting.com prices at the time of order. Now, this had multiple quantities available, so I ordered 2. So one quantity was $35, and says that would be worth $100. So when you buy 2, this should be worth over $200. Games will be a mix of complete in box, loose, manual, all that jazz. So yeah, I'm very fascinated to see what we have here, and what is even greater is that I had eBay bucks available to spend, which is beautiful. So actually, I only spent like maybe $30. But then again, you have to spend to earn those eBay bucks, and well, let's not talk about how much you have to spend to earn $40 in eBay bucks. And we have a lot of bubble wrap, very good. Oh, this was packaged very nicely. I think this might be platform specific the way he did this. So this might be some Atari stuff, I'm guessing. Wow, this is cool. Order one. This feels. Yeah, got some. I'm getting excited. I love it. It's like a box in a box. Package 1 of 2. Package 1 of 2. Very cool. The box is on the floor. Now Melissa's interest has been piqued. Alright. I want to start with this small one first. So I'm guessing that'll probably be some Atari stuff. This is random lot. I'm not expecting a ton of Atari stuff. Might not even be a lot. Might not even be any. Alright, let's see what we got. Okay, we got Missile Command. Excellent. Look at that, little Missile Command. Oh, I love this. I think this is the first time actually we've had, there we go, we got Game Program Combat. I think this is the first time actually that we had Atari stuff in here. That comes with Tank, Tank Pong, Invisible Tank, Biplane, Jet Fighter. Oh, we got a little paper. Oh, this tells me all the games. Don't want to see that. Oh, hold on. There's also Wii stuff in here. Alright. Oh, and a loose PlayStation game. Driver. Oh, 2 of them. Didn't even feel that. And Cool Borders too. Look at that. That's not bad. I like Cool Borders. You know, it's great too because my PS1 collection, not the best. But thankfully we have a real winner underneath both of these, which would be 10-minute solution, 10-minute cardio workouts for your knockout body, and I really need something like this. This case, however, has seen better days. Oh, Lord. Oh, what is that? That, my friends, is somebody's hair. A little token. Gotta keep that. Band Hero on the Wii. Another one of those things where we talked about when we got other Guitar Hero Rock Band games, these random pulls. I don't even have the instruments for this stuff anymore. And I'd imagine they don't cost all that much, although I think the last time I checked them on eBay, it was kind of expensive, but that's probably just because of shipping. Bakugan, Battle Brawlers. I'm actually really loving, oh cool, Project Gotham on Xbox, although it's a Platinum Hits case. But I love how the Wii stuff is, of course, like this is basically what you're going to get from Wii stuff, right? Anything that's even remotely worth playing on Wii is worth more than $10 to $15. I know that's a general statement, but, you know, for the most part. So I'm not expecting anything really great out of the Wii batch. I really need to buy myself a Game Boy Micro again. I keep looking at this beautiful, like aqua blue color one, like that PS2 we unboxed. And that was a Japanese, Japan-only Micro. Beautiful. So upset that I sold mine when I was a kid. Other list, I see Halo, I see NHL. Oh, actually, and that means we should get 8 sports games in total because I ordered 2 quantities. NHL, NBA, we're gonna knock them out all in one go. MLB 07, but hey, that's a Sony published game. We got we got Grand Slam Tennis and Halo Combat Evolved. Thank you for saving that pull out of there. Oh boy. You know, out of all these, I'd probably play NBA. Even though I grew up as a baseball kid, I find basketball more enjoyable nowadays. This is a very good Combat Evolved. With the manual, very good. I'm quite pleased with this. Just swap it out for a better case, but otherwise looks great. Next up, another batch of games here. I see another Kinect title. Dude, remember we got like, oh my god, we got like 20 or 30 Kinect games out of that 200 game one. Guitar Hero 3, another one of those instrument games. I'm losing my train of thought. GTA 3, this is probably the 4th or 5th Grand Theft Auto 3 I've run into in my life. But still a fantastic game. SOCOM, and I only have a greatest hits of this. I'm ashamed to say, but I really want a black label of the first SOCOM. It's so funny, now that I've done so many of these, I can actually Frankenstein my way to a few of these games getting completely, well, finished, you know what I mean? And I've already done that already. I've taken a lot of cases together. Ooh, Perfect Dark, what a great game. I mean, I really enjoyed it, but I mean, this is one of the games, if you bought a 360 in 2005, you were playing this, so that's what really, that's a sticking point for me. Another Rock Band, well, the first Rock Band, which I don't have for 360, and another Kinect Adventures. That's the one where we got like 9 of them in that other video. 9 of them. I think we see some PlayStation 3. No, I'm happy about that. Ooh, some loose PS3. Madden, Tiger Woods 06, High School Musical. People are gonna really hate me when I say I did not grow up watching Disney. I didn't like Disney at all. Club World? The music making experience? I've never heard of this. So I have no idea what that would be. Yeah, I don't know. Disney stuff, I never got jazzed up about it. And for where I live locally, Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network were sandwiching Disney, so sometimes I'd have to flick past Disney to get to the channels I actually want to watch. Pure, I don't have that. That's beautiful looking too. This is a great copy. Oh, but it's got a nasty sticker. Push, play, movie rental. It's what's so funny about a lot of these games is that from movie rental shops, and I think Redbox does this still. Well, they're not selling games anymore, but they put that. They always put a sticker right around the ring. And ooh. Oh no, is that on the box art?
Awesome screen, awesome camera, long.
That's painful. That's painful. A sticker on the box art. I was really optimistic about that. Those are the kind of things that just gut you. Well, me at least. I know everyone likes to pick on me, but that's how I am. That looked good. I'll try and remove that with a little bit of pizzazz later on. Need for Speed Undercover. had to check the side there, and it looks good. Okay, very nice. And I always love that. Ooh, the disc is a little beat up. What I was saying though, with the with PlayStation 3 games, before Sony changed the box art, right? So they had the logo on the spine, or right on the edge of the spine, and they didn't put it up here. The actual clear portion. This is where they had the Metafont of PlayStation 3 right here, and the newer cases moved the Blu-ray logo over here, and then removed that completely. So I always try to make sure that the right case is with the right box art. If it is one of those pre-September 2009 PlayStation 3 games, and this Skylanders has seen better day as well. I think I've received a Skylanders before, so I think that is already complete for me. I think we got more Atari in here. Yeah, we got Super Breakout, used with paddle controllers, and Street Racer. Next up, there is more Xbox, and I think a PS2 in there.
Look at this shape.
Shrek. That's great. That's awesome. And another Tiger Woods. But I don't care. We got Shrek. Shrek's probably looking good. Why is this my most favorite thing so far that we've pulled? Oh, that's great. That's the kind of stuff where, like, I'd never buy that, but if somebody wanted to give me Shrek 2, I'm taking it. Last one over here. I don't even know how many games, if it actually is straight up 40. I would imagine so. Tony Hawk Shred. Is this the one where they give you that big skateboard, that skateboard peripheral? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I remember this being kind of a big deal. Well, I say that loosely. Not a big deal, but, you know, I remember the press build-up for this game. Not my thing. Star Wars The Force Unleashed. Well, this is actually probably the best thing we got going here for Wii. So, that's not bad at all. Absolutely, I'll take that. Looks good. Complete. Medal of Honor, limited edition. Don't have this for 360s, so that's welcomed. Comes with all of our paperwork. Ooh, From Russia with Love, 007. I remember this, like, getting a little bit of attention, commercials on TV. I don't remember if this was actually good, though. Madden, I think we're over 8 sports games. I'm going to be honest there. It seems like we're not doing too good on that front. Wow, this is a really old sticker, though. Used $20.99. And this is Madden 02. That's crazy. That sticker's been on there for that long. Oh my god. Imagine paying $20.99 for this used back then. 18 years ago, dude. It's a great case, though. Last stretch. Another Greatest Hits GT3. I think I have got nothing but Greatest Hits Gran Turismo. And this is one of the most sold PlayStation 2 games out there. If you don't know, GT3 sold a ridiculous amount of copies. Just, I couldn't name it off the top of my head. It's in the millions. It's one of the biggest PS2 games out there. Ooh, Sing It, Popstar, another Disney classic. Although, look at the condition of this case. This is the nicest case we've pulled out of here so far, outside of this nasty nick. But the rest of it is, like, unbelievable. Very impressed with Disney Sing It there. And a Wii Fit, that's nice. We got 4 or 5 of those, too, as well. And these are so heavy, the manual's so thick. Dance Dance Revolution. I've got 1 or 2 of these laying around. I'm quite certain I don't have this one. I like that we also have a Cabela's here. It's like, at this point when I'm doing videos like these, I'd rather get some of these really just obscure cult classic games. And when I say cult classic, I mean, like, you know, these games keep getting made. People still buy them, I think. I don't know when the last Cabela's came out. But there were so many of these, same like Rapala Fishing. And I think some of these actually still hold their value decent, from what I recall. Like Rapala was worth like $12 or something. Then we got another NHL, so I'm thinking we're way over the sports game limit. But no duplicates, so that was good. So let's round them all up real quick. Actually, let's count those sports games. Alright, sports games. We are looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh, they duped us there. They gave us 2 sports games, unless they're extra. Now we need to make sure we got 40. So in total, we've got 10, 20, 30. This makes 40 right here. 41 and 42. So 2 sports games, 2 extra sports games, but 2 extra games in total. I can't complain there. Now those papers we were throwing away earlier, whoever sold this, I love them because they actually were printing out the appraisal for every single game. So that's going to make my editing a lot easier. But as you can see, they've got it all listed out here from the time of purchase. So this is all updated from at least January 14th, so a little bit of discrepancy. But overall, this is a perfect breakdown. And if we add these up, $207.17. So we certainly exceeded our value, only spending $71. Really, for me, about 30 using the eBay bucks, not bad. Quality of games is not great in this one. This is not the worst haul we've had, but it's not the best one either. So, yeah, on that front, not looking good. But as I mentioned earlier, it's always fun to do these because I can Frankenstein a lot of these cases and manuals and discs to make a fully complete game. And it just works out great that way. Plus, I guess you all really enjoy watching these. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you haven't yet, of course, please subscribe for the best PlayStation news, reviews, and updates.
Oh, videos.
Stop. Yeah. Stop.
Ouch.
Think about what you're doing. I mean, you wouldn't ignore customers in a real store, so stop doing it online. Start conversations with your online window shoppers. Deliver delightful, personal experiences.
Together, we can get more leads, more conversions, and more money!
And stop making people queue.
Thank you for holding.
They hate it.
I hate it.
Start serving your customers on the channel of their choice. Be it your web.
So a few days ago, I found an eBay listing for random PS3 games. for $100, but it guaranteed over $140 in value. And then if you read the listing further, it says you'll get 6 to 20 games, 2 to 3 sports games, sometimes no sports games, but no duplicates. And so naturally, I bought it. And these are my favorite kind of listings to buy, and I think that's what makes them fun to watch, because you don't know what you're going to get. But I love the bold claim of $140 in value, so we will fact check that with every game. We'll check eBay, some recently sold auctions, completed listings. We'll filter it that way and try to do a good average, or maybe we'll be conservative and pick the lowest priced game to see if it really does go over that $100 mark. I do want to see what's going down in this. Also, the listing does mention that most of our cases and box art and manuals are included. So, you know, that's also something I'm on board with. This is actually, technically I bought this a while ago, so this has been sitting a bit. Not that that makes a huge difference, but it looks like we got a lot. I mean, the box seems small, but it looks like we got a lot of games here. All right. Oh, peanuts. And there are our games. So they were nicely packaged, and we already see a green one and a Blu-ray one, so that's a bit odd. Let's take those out first, actually. Ratchet & Clank All for One in a Xbox 3... an Xbox One? No, not an Xbox One case, an Xbox 360 case. Ooh. There you go, All for One. I mean, it's a perfectly fine playable disc, but let's press forward here. Call of Duty Ghosts. I love how they did that. At least they get a Blu-ray case. Look at that. What is... Wait a second. We just got a reversed... they reversed the art for Alvin and the Chipmunks Chipwrecked and then defaced it with Call of Duty on it. I'm going to consider this one a loss. We got Uncharted 3 I'm seeing, which is not the first time I've gotten Uncharted 3 in a random lot, but it's a very good copy. It says it goes for $7, but I know this is trading for probably lower than this, I'd imagine. If a game sells in high volume, it's just going to be worth less, so nothing wrong with that, but that's kind of what we're looking at here. Oh, we also have, what is that? Birds of Prey on, in a jewel case. Oh, that's loose. Coming in clutch. Hey, the Sega Genesis collection. Now, I really like this a lot. Ooh, it feels... Ooh, there's something on the disc. Don't think that's showing up on camera, but there is, like, some sort of really disgusting, like, residue on this. Here, you know what? I'll just go all in. There you go. That's lovely. Let me just readjust here. Mod Nation Racers. Hey, look at that. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't actually have this game, which, to be honest, I try to buy most of Sony's major for here. Oh, we also have, what is that? Birds of Prey? Games. So they were nicely packaged, and we already see a green one and a Blu-ray one. Okay. On, in a jewel case. Oh. Loose. Don't think that's showing up on camera, but there is like... That's lovely. Let me just readjust here. Mod Nation Racers. Hey, look at that. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't actually have this game, which, to be honest, I try to buy most of Sony's major first-party IP, although Mod Nation's not that big of a game, because they only did, what, PS3, Vita, PSP, and then that's the last we saw of that franchise. But that's not worth that much. We got Battlefield 4. I don't think... no, I think I do have a complete set of this. I'm not entirely sure. But we've got an extra case as well, so that's not too bad. This one says... It's actually interesting. A lot of these games are already marked for us, so... $7 it says there, but we're going to fact check all the eBay stuff, and I'll just put a running counter that has probably already been displayed as I'm speaking. Battlefield Hardline, and it looks like a very good copy of the game with the voucher for gold battle packs still in there, and still valid as well, 2015 and 2020. So I'm probably not going to need that if somebody wants to take that. The Darkness 2 limited edition. Wow. I don't have this. I know that for a fact. And I've heard I've heard this is a very enjoyable game. You know, it's maybe a little bit more divisive. Final Fantasy 13. Got this one. A platinum that escaped me. That's a video we've discussed before. Platinum trophies I gave up on. This was one of them. Probably put like 90 hours into that game and just left it without a platinum. Rock Band 2. Who remembers having all those plastic instruments hidden somewhere in your house or tiny apartment? And yeah, now the Rock Band games, I know the instruments, they're all... Last time I checked up on this franchise and that kind of stuff, those things you could pretty much, people were trying to, they would pay you to take them. Let's just put it that way. Angry Birds Star Wars with PlayStation Move support. Okay. Alright. Aliens vs. Predator. This one says $12 on it, and I think that might actually be accurate without looking it up myself, just because at first glance you might think, oh, well, you know, this game probably didn't sell all that well, so trying to find a copy after the fact it would be tough. Resistance Fall of Man.
Oh,
Ooh,
the
there's
game.
like some sort of nasty little, I don't know, oh jeez. There's some nasty green stuff going on down there. I don't know what happened there. Because I was about to say, 2006 launch PlayStation 3 game, but I will always take another copy of Resistance, even though I absolutely don't need them. And, yeah, Resistance, but that's an old game. Not worth much. Rapala. Is that how you pronounce it? Rapala, or is it Rapala? Fishing Frenzy. And, I know these games often get dogged pretty hard for being, well, not good, but yet a franchise that has had a lot of releases and a pretty, I don't know, would cult following be like a fair thing to say about this game? I don't really know. But what I do know is that it's actually priced at $18. I don't know when that label was created, but I'd actually be pretty surprised if this was worth more than $10. SOCOM Confrontation. I just had to jump to this right away. I really did. The SOCOM that, you know, and I will be the first to say, I'm not a huge SOCOM fan, so I don't really know how the community feels, but as far as I remember, and from, you know, looking back, I think Confrontation was one that not only did a lot of people not like, but a very difficult platinum as well. Not that that means anything to the SOCOM franchise. I remember more about the trophies than I do the game. But I don't, yeah, I think SOCOM 4 was the one where people actually enjoyed that much more than Confrontation. I could be wrong. Here's a sports game. We got Madden 25. It says $5. That's either accurate or lower. Homefront. Ooh, you know what? I actually have been meaning to play this. And it's one of those games where I've been meaning to play it for an extremely long time, and yet here I am looking at it again, reminding me that I need to play it. Here we got a beat-up copy of the Infamous Collection. Now, I have both Infamous games separately. I've never actually had the... Sony started to do this a little bit with the PlayStation 3 into the end life cycle, where they did these collection box arts, where, you know, it came with multiple versions of the game, and it would be this white background, your main character, and then you'd have this gold collection sticker up top. Or not sticker, but, you know, label. And they did that for a few franchises. So I've never had any editions like that outside of the first run of Vita versions, because that was the only time they did those games on Vita. NCAA Football 12. This is one well, it says $3, but I remember from the other video where we unboxed eBay games, my friend Terrell was like, oh yeah, well, NCAA 12 is actually, or not 12, because I'm holding it. NCAA 11's rare. Or no, it's 14. 14, I think. Yeah. NCAA Football 14, $75, $74, $82. That's still nuts. There's always outliers, but generally, sports games, not that much. Mass Effect 2. What a great game. This was such an enjoyable Platinum Trophy. A game that I would love to go back to. No problem with this whatsoever. Fantastic game. Phenomenal game, some might say. Just Cause 2. Nice. Just Cause 2. I don't really know what to say beyond the fact that this is a title worth playing. And you know what's funny is that so far this box, I would say price to quality of game, dramatically higher than the other boxes we did. like the 100 random PS3 games or the 200 random games regardless of platform, those were like wholesale values, where at the very least this guy is delivering on games that are not only worth a little something, but like they're enjoyable too. Like these are games you would actually like. I like Rage. You know, it's the case is a little gnarly, but that's all right. The Anarchy Edition. And then lastly we have Max Payne 3, which is loose. I'll fix that real quick. Yeah, these are all games anybody can really get down on. You know what I mean? Like, not bad. Not bad. And it was packaged properly, so transit, I'd imagine, wasn't terrible, unless something was already beat up pretty good. But here we go. So in total, we actually got a decent amount of games. 1, 2, 3, 24 games total. Actually, 25 if you want to count the 2 Infamous games. That's more than they promised. And what, a handful of what, like 2, 3 sports games? I don't know, do you want to count the fishing game? Quite pleased. Not bad. Not bad at all. Aside from the fact that it's obviously completely random, so you don't get to choose anything, I think this is actually a pleasant surprise for anybody that wants to go into this and just, I think, either want to be introduced to franchises that they haven't heard of before, or games that, you know, maybe they've heard of before, but this would be like a good excuse to actually start them. Or at the very least, if you don't have many PlayStation 3 games, instead of trying to arbitrarily pad it with some of those bigger auctions that we explored, this would be a genuine way to get some fairly decent conditioned games that are, you know, respectably fun. Like, you wouldn't have a problem playing these on your own time. But now let's talk about that $140 guaranteed value, which you already know the answer to because I've displayed it in post-editing, and I don't know right now because I'm filming, so let's cut to where I actually do know the answer. Welp, needless to say, I am very surprised. $10 over what was promised, more games than what was promised. I almost feel like I should state I had no correspondence with the seller whatsoever. I just found this on eBay, bought it, got it. This is the video. Genuinely surprised that this is what I got. Now, I used pricecharting.com, which is a site that will aggregate a bunch of eBay data to give those values, and so those are the numbers we went with. But oftentimes, in fact, most of the times, those numbers are very low. So this might even be a little bit more, because when you manually check eBay sold listings, you almost always can't find the lowest price that is listed from price charting. So it's weird that that data sometimes appears so low, but quite honestly, this might be a little bit more than 150 as well. Either way, when comparing this to the other random lots we've done, I think this one far exceeds the price to value ratio, and this one just came out much better, and I'm very pleased for sure. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have not yet, please subscribe for the best PlayStation news, reviews.
Conversação aí eu vou significado. Positivo aí. Ah, que ótimo. Alegrada. Naklejší fantastické. Officeでやるけど。She's a winner for a fight that time. Oh. Yo. Push. Do that. I want to smell that. Being like that. Next time. Come, cheek. Extra win control. Oh. I love FBAs. I swear to God, I do a lot of things. Mistakes like we're winning of it. Oh, ja. We're not besmurfd kan. Vraagteken. This is matchmaking. Skill-based matchmaking, nee? Alltid fordi mapper snakker om det. Jeg vet ikke hva han ikke på. Apparently so. Oh, it is new skill-based matching. We can clone surfaces. Excellent. Mine now, boy. It's mine now, boy. Oh shit. It is way different. Lost no idea. This is what this is. Ooh. hou wacht van mij met die keycard. Kom. Wat am I net announced? Oh, okay. Skill-based matchmaking, my god, Aliens is sweet, the idea. Not even touch blades. It may need yours at all. Laat me jullie vaak even laten hangen. Oh, nie, nie wyjdź. Det är bra att han är till ben. Så där på mitt. Ja. was pretty speed-based sort of. Like good. No way, that's not. No, it is Dugford. Guys, big roof. Is there a street in like the rice much? Yeah, right. Low my view. Which is not me. Thousand six here. Oh, vaccine.
When Tibbs, your generation, you can't wait. Always pushing a button for everything.
So the PlayStation 4 has been on the market now for 5 years as of making this video. And there's been multiple models, PS4, PS4 Slim, PS4 Pro, but even those consoles have had a lot of limited edition runs, like the Metal Gear Solid 5 PS4, the Batman one, the Blue Days of Play PS4 was really cool, even the upcoming Spider-Man console looks really sweet. But what we're going to do in this video is look at the rarest PS4s, the coolest PlayStation 4s, the kind of PlayStation 4s that you probably won't be able to find or buy, at least not for cheap. Now we're going to start off with a rare PS4 that is actually well known, and a lot of people know about this because it was a big deal at the time, but this is actually going to be the most common PS4 on this list, and that's the 20th Anniversary Edition PlayStation 4. This was a PS1-inspired design for the PS4, a great console, a great controller, the PlayStation logo was colored, just like it was back in the day, and Sony did a number of these. They made 12,000 units, but a lot of them were either sold at auction or given away in contests, and each system was individually numbered. And perhaps the most interesting point is that console number 1 was auctioned off on Yahoo, and the winning bidder, the console was sold for 15 million yen, which is about roughly 135,000 US dollars. That is an extremely expensive PlayStation 4, but for 12,000 units, this was released worldwide. There's a plentiful amount of consoles on eBay. They range anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. A console that is actually more rare than the 20th Anniversary Edition, although probably not as desirable, was the Golden Taco Bell PlayStation 4. If you remember, in North America, there was a running promotion at Taco Bell where if you bought a Quesarito Big Box, you had a chance to get a golden PlayStation 4. This was the original PS4 design, and the top half of the console was gold. This console is actually twice as rare as the 20th Anniversary Edition PlayStation 4. 6,048 of these consoles were made, and actually only 5,000 of them were given away. Even rarer than that, and you'd be hard-pressed to find this console online or even information about it, but it is the PS4 Slim 2nd Anniversary Edition. This is a regular PlayStation 4 Slim, although the front of the console has the PlayStation buttons kind of in a very gold, nice looking finish, and it also came with 2 controllers, a gift box, a branded notebook, an LED light, and a two-year anniversary card and flask, which is surprisingly odd, but this was released in China. Only 2,000 of these consoles were released, and if one were to ever spring up on eBay or something, I wouldn't look twice and I would probably consider snagging it up. Moving on to consoles that are either one of a kind or way too absurdly expensive for us to buy, but we're starting with the PlayStation 4 Gaystation. This was a console out of Sweden for the LGBT community. It was a one-of-a-kind console, and it was auctioned off. The proceeds would go to an LGBT group, and the Gaystation sold for 28,000 Swedish kroner. That's about 4,000 US dollars. And this was back in August of 2014. But as you can see, this console looks beautiful. You get the rainbow colors there supporting gay rights. You got the beautiful heart on there. Now moving on to something a bit more lavish and extravagant and luxurious and just borderline kind of absurd, but it was the PlayStation 4 Slim Gold and Crystal Edition. This was a one-of-a-kind console out of Europe. It had 6,000 Czech crystals on it. It was lined with 50 golden plates of 24-karat gold, and it was auctioned off for charity, celebrating the opening of the Art Week in Prague. Now, you might think a console that's plated in gold is a little bit overplayed. Over the years, we've seen a lot of consoles like these because, let's face it, when it's not coming directly from the manufacturer like Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo, any schmuck can just take some gold and plate it onto a console. But it takes real money and power to get pure gold from the console. And that's why we're moving on to a gold PlayStation 4 straight from Dubai. An Italian jeweler, Gotti, created this beautiful PlayStation 4 right out. This was exclusively sold in the United Arab Emirates, and this was in the Jumbo Electronics store for $13,700. And this was if you want the deets here, 220 grams of 9-karat gold. Now, this was a console that screamed absolute power, and I expect nothing less from Dubai. But as we move forward to giveaways from developers and publishers, these are one-of-a-kind consoles, and this is the cool portion. These things look gorgeous, like the PlayStation 4 Pro Mass Effect Andromeda console, one of a kind, and this was a giveaway from the For the Players website. So you would fill out a form and just basically hope that you would get this thing. I think what's great about the PlayStation 4 Pro is that when you do a custom version of this console, there's really a lot of different ways you can take it in terms of accenting colors, because it has that 3-tier design, and this Mass Effect Andromeda system takes complete advantage of it. Similarly, the PlayStation 4 Horizon Zero Dawn console. This was also given away on the For the Players website from PlayStation Germany. This thing looks so beautiful. As you can see, that middle portion is kind of a gray color, while the top and bottom portion is blacked out with Aloy on the very top. And the controller being finished off with the Guerrilla Games logo just tops it off perfectly. How about a PlayStation 4 Pro Skyrim Edition? Because let's face it, Skyrim has to be everywhere, including the actual console. And this console was actually alongside a special Nintendo Switch as well. But what's interesting about this is that it's just full imagery, right? And the imagery even folds over into that 3-tier design of the PS4 Pro. You've got the wintry effect on the top of that mountain there, with the Dragonborn staring right into the Skyrim logo and the dragon on top. How about PlayStation 4 Slim, the Aku Aku Edition? This console came from France, one of a kind. This was a giveaway on the official France Micromania page. You would fill out a form and you would hope to win this thing. They actually recommended that you not play this console and instead just display it, and understandably so, because I don't think I'd really want to play it either, because you would want to sit this upright in some sort of shelf and display the fact that Aku Aku is gracing the very front of that PS4 in a marvelous fashion. And also the controller looks somewhat rugged and probably not that comfortable to play. Another situation where they made great use of the PS4's tiered design was this very beautiful Rockstar Games Grand Theft Auto 5 PlayStation 4. This was given away on their Facebook page. Again, you'd be hard-pressed to find this console anywhere else. You had to be extremely lucky to get this custom PlayStation 4. But it's black, has that green accenting on the tier design. You've got that big 5 right on the front of the console. On the upper portion of it, you've got the Rockstar logo, and then in soft letters, Grand Theft Auto 5.
Simon and Joe both invest in stocks. Simon uses eToro to invest in stocks without
Now, for our final PlayStation 4 and our most expensive PS4, and this is officially from Sony, but for $46,000, you could be the proud owner of this bundle from Sony. You got a PS4 Pro, a PlayStation VR, a PS Plus, a racing setup, a racing wheel, a Bravia 4K HDR television, a copy of Gran Turismo Sport, and a 2018 Mazda MX-5. And this was an official bundle from Sony, officially in Taiwan. This bundle actually sold out, so there was actually no chance of most people even considering getting this. And granted, you actually do get a regular PS4 Pro. There's nothing special about it. It's just a regular console. But there's not many people on this planet that can say, yes, I got my PS4 with my brand new 2018 Mazda MX-5. More specifically, the PS4 Pro wasn't special, but the Mazda was. That actually had a Gran Turismo livery on it, so that's probably the more interesting part of that bundle, but technically it's a $46,000 PlayStation 4 bundle, because you are also getting all that other stuff. All the stuff you need to play Gran Turismo in the best way possible in the comfort of your own home. And then when you're done playing that, you go outside to your brand new Mazda. Thank you all for watching, and if you haven't, I suggest you subscribe to this YouTube channel for the best PlayStation news and updates that you can find on YouTube. Otherwise, you can follow me on Twitter at Mystic Ryan to see all the shenanigans I get myself into, because sometimes it happens. But otherwise, that's all I got for you in this video. So, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next one. Take it easy. So not too long ago, I did a video of 100 random PS3 games that I bought off eBay, which is really fun to see like what we got in the unboxing. But so now we've got 200 games, and it could be anything. It doesn't matter what platform it is. It could be PS3, PS2, PS1, Wii, GameCube, Xbox, Xbox 360. There's a lot of things we could get in this little haul that we got here, so let's unbox these things and see what we get. And as you can see, we do have Melissa here right now, which is great. She's always really the star of the show. Can't really fault her for that. She's a lot better to look at than me. So for this box, you remember the last one we paid $2.91, I believe, which averaged out to $2.91 per PS3 game. This one I paid $329, I believe, and I think the quick math on that one right before I filmed this was it comes out to about $1.65 per game, which is even cheaper than the listing before. So certainly that'll be pretty fun. But the listing does say for this particular amount of games, definitely wholesale value. There's going to be sports games. There's going to be duplicates. They're not picked out in any way, shape, or form. So there's no guarantee about really what we're going to get. I'm also not really sure why each box says 100 DVDs because we didn't buy DVDs. We bought video games. But, oh, there we go. We got a lot of stuff. Melissa, you're going to have to move, sweetie. What's funny about that last video is that so many of my subscribers really enjoyed that video, and they're like, oh, man, you know, you should do more unboxings and things like that. And so that's what we're doing now, but the video kind of went a little viral. And everyone's like, oh, man, he's complaining because he doesn't like all the broken box art and cases and whatnot. All right, maybe I was complaining a little bit. I don't think I did, but I guess looking back, I was bitching a lot. The thing is, I mean, when you're a collector, like, if you like having a shelf of physical games and things like that, I mean, obviously you care about that kind of stuff. So that's why, you know, I was, like, making comments about the video. Oh, man, look at all this box art. Not really doing all that well. But it's like, you know, the games are a dime a dozen. If you want to buy a particular copy of the game just for the sheer fact of playing it, that's all well and good. You can go get it, no problem. It's cases and box art that are harder to come by, especially with the longer age of the game. So we got some 360 games, we got some PS2 games up in here, we have our cases and box art, which is good. I mean, this one for sure, I wasn't like, you know, like we got American Idol 2 Encore up in here. Am I going to play that? Probably not. You, here, have American Idol. Yeah, NBA Live 08 for the Wii. For the Wii. I was expecting a lot of Wii and a lot of DS, and so that's what we're getting so far here. And because we're at 200 games, I'm really gonna have to move through these. No organizational skills whatsoever. We'll do a final count and whatnot like I did before. But the other interesting thing about this haul is that in this listing,
Your customers might ignore your emails, but they will see your message on WhatsApp. FreshChat helps you grow your business with messaging, get more inquiries, send promotional offers.
Alright everyone, we got a new unboxing for you. Today, a bunch of used PS4 games from Amazon.com. Normally we do random lot unboxings where we don't know what the games are. These I did pick out, but I thought this would be fun to try because on Amazon you're buying sight unseen. You don't get a picture of the actual game you will receive. Amazon will list a condition. They'll tell you if it's a third-party seller or if it's straight from Amazon's warehouse. So I thought, let's take a dive and see just how accurate those listings are. Alright, first game though. Let's crack into it. And I think I already know what this one is. I believe it should be Hidden Agenda, which, okay, interesting. dive and see just how accurate those listings are. Alright, first game though. Let's crack into it. And I think I already know what this one is. I believe it should be Hidden Agenda, which... Okay, interesting. It is Hidden Agenda. What a great start for a used PS4 game video. Now, I'm not lying to you. I'm showing you a screenshot of my purchase. It says it's used. It says like new. Oh, wait, hold on. It says sealed and packaged. We are unable to accept returns on open software or PC games. That's interesting. So I just snagged this for $7.70. I can't believe I didn't notice that when I bought this. I don't know what's in this one. This is a really obnoxiously overpackaged game. This one is Drive Club. Ooh, alright, well. Ooh, that's dusty. There's some sort of pitting on the front there. But we do have Drive Club. Yeah, I actually never had Drive Club in my collection. It is one of those games where I played the PlayStation Plus version, and I waited patiently for it to come out. This was listed as used like new, so I'm thinking they're very off base with this one. There's a really evident tear in the box art and case. I don't know if it goes into the box art, but it's an evident tear. Yeah, the box art's fine, but there's a tear in the case, and they've actually taped over it. So not a huge deal, but a far cry from what they listed it as. So if you take this game and combine it with our first game, averages out to a pretty decent score so far, I guess, because the first one was practically brand new. Next game, Tekken 7. And it looks very good for the most part. Don't know what's going on there, but it's Tekken 7. Looks good. Wait a minute. Hold on, buddy. Is this an aftermarket PlayStation 4 case? That's what I think's going on here, because I have never... Yeah, this is not a genuine PlayStation 4 case. A genuine case is a darker blue. Also, the disc is more center. And then another pretty big giveaway is you have these little accenting plastic pieces here that I would assume it's more of like an impact resistant sort of thing when it hits a corner, right? Because this piece protrudes out and it rests nicely on this little insert up top here. But that is a genuine PS4 case, so this one is an aftermarket one. Tekken 7 was listed as has case and disc, looks great, very good condition. And you know, it's definitely good, but the fact that it's not a genuine case is kind of bogus, although a lot of people are not going to notice this. This is just a kind of a me thing where I pick up on it right away, and it bothers me because you know it bothers me. I'm that guy. I still get made fun of because I'm all about the cases and box art, but that's what you're into when you collect video games. Now this one has 2 games in it. You can see where I tore off the label. You can see the cushioning of this package. But this one is, I'm pretty sure this one's from Amazon's warehouse. So there's like a lot of games in this one, and that's where they could get it into the fewest packages, but these 2 came separately. We've got one here, and then...
Here are 5 reasons why I love the Huawei Watch Fit more than the Apple Watch. First of all, Watch Fit has a beautiful design with a large display. Plus, it's comfortable to wear all day. Watch Fit battery lasts 10 whole days, while Apple, it lasts just for 1 day. Watch Fit tracks your blood oxygen level, sleep, and stress. Watch Fit has...
Another one here. And Concrete Genie. All right. This is without a doubt the most obnoxious, the largest sticker I have ever seen on a used video game. Full stop. I've never seen one that big before. Oh, there's another one too. That's great. Yeah, Concrete Genie though, this is one that I did not pick up. This was something that I could have waited to get it a little bit cheaper. But it is one of those more abstract, more niche titles that I really wanted to play, just didn't really have the time or cash. So listed as missing shrink wrap, activation codes for bonus online content may be missing or expired. Item may come repackaged. And this one is Days Gone. And this might be the better way to package the game. And I know you're already thinking, you don't have Days Gone yet? You haven't played Days Gone yet? No, I haven't. I'm sorry. Now this is how you package a game. So Days Gone looks fantastic, and then we've got the stickers that we just saw in Concrete Genie now on this little plastic wrapper insert. So, which technically just a bunch of useless extra plastic, and I'm all for lowering our need for plastics, but at the very least the game looks to be very good. Days Gone listed as used, very good. Missing shrink wrap, activation codes may have been used. Small cosmetic damage on item case, may come repackaged. I'm not seeing anything wrong with this case. Yeah, it looks great. This is the best one so far outside of the basically brand new copy of Hidden Agenda that we had gotten. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this might be Secret of Mana, which I was meaning to get. And it looks like it's sealed. There we go. Yeah. Okay, Secret of Mana, and it's brand new. Yeah, the listing does say used like new, which, no, it's completely new. But a lot of these third-party retailers, you know, if they're a bigger business, they don't consider a return like this as something that they can sell back to you as brand new, right? Even if it's in the shrink wrap, they still consider it a used copy, so that might be a situation that something like this falls in. Even though I was telling Terrell about this, I was telling Terrell, like, oh yeah, I ordered a bunch of used games, we'll see how they turn out, and I showed him all the games that I ordered. The only thing he has to say about all the games I ordered is, man, Secret of Mana, that's not good. Like, just the quality of the game. And I guess, yeah, I guess it actually got pretty poor reviews, which I don't remember getting poor reviews, the remake. I'm already seeing Medieval with a pretty decent crack in the case. So yes, I ordered, wow, okay, this is ugly. But I did order Medieval. The disc is loose. Amazon warehouse inspected, more stickers. So this case definitely has to get replaced. They listed this as like new. This doesn't look even remotely close to like new. This is not even under their acceptable category. Or I think acceptable they listed as like it may have case, may have box art, things like that. I got Call of Duty World War II, which this one is sealed. So this is really interesting. I'm surprised how many completely sealed games we're getting. And the game's not even loose. Actually, no, wait. This has been repackaged. I'm just now noticing it. This is a very thin... Look at that. Look at how thin that is. This has been resealed, actually. Listed as factory refurbished, cover art, disc, and case included, cleaned, and resealed. Says like new. So, I mean, technically they're not lying. They're not lying at all. This is completely resealed and reconditioned, which is kind of a weird statement to make. In fact, this entire case is extremely odd. So there's the game. Oh, it actually had one of those stickers around the disc, which has actually been removed. And funnily enough, the hardest stickers to remove are the ones that are on the disc, like from a Redbox or something like that, or one of those older. If you still have a video store that's kicking around, they always put a sticker on the disc. But they're like so difficult to remove. And you can see why. Because we've got what appears to be complete scratching and etching right into the printed art on the disc. And then, yeah, this is definitely a very strange aftermarket box, which has to make new creases on this art because this is a thinner case. They weren't lying, so I'll give them that one. Now is the time for me to finally buy Mass Effect Andromeda. I had no problem waiting for this game to come down in price, and this is looking like an extremely poor copy of the game. The case is beat up pretty good. Massive sticker, totally cracked and destroyed, so this will need a completely new case. This was listed as like new, includes manual cover art and packaging. DLC codes may have been used, blah, blah, blah. You know what, to be honest, Amazon's descriptions are pretty poor so far. Battleborn is looking okay, not bad. And Battleborn, this is like, sorry, you know, Gearbox, this was like such a... I feel bad about this game, I really do, because they really were so heavily invested in making this game, and nobody cared. Nobody. Amazingly though, this was listed as acceptable, case has wear, disc is in good condition. This, considered acceptable, looks far better than our two outgoing like news. So, yeah, Amazon's pretty bizarre. Titanfall 2. This is looking really good actually. This is one where the stickers can come off. Use that Goo Gone. Goo Gone really is fantastic to get this stuff off. Like if you have not used it before, use it. Try to peel off as much as you can initially, then apply a little bit, and it'll come off just fine. Titanfall 2 listed as used, very good. I think they're right on the money there. We got Hello Neighbor. I always kept seeing this game. So many times I would like go to a store and I just like see it on the shelf. And I know it's one of those like smaller scale titles that has kind of like a cult following. People really enjoyed what this game was going for. And so I think it was about time for me to finally buy it and add it to the collection. And it is looking like an okay copy of the game. It was listed as includes manual, cover art, and packaging. Content may have been used. And it says like new. Yeah, it's definitely good. Just take the sticker off on the back. But wow, I'm surprised how large the stickers are on Amazon. Firewall 0 Hour, looking very good. Another giant sticker, that's whatever, but Firewall is looking good. This was recently on PlayStation Plus, which I didn't even bother downloading it because I knew I was going to be buying this game anyway, because it was kind of not a fantastic deal, but you know, I want it for the shelf anyway. Listing says, like new, comes with manual, art, and packaging. DLC may have been used, and this is an accurate like new. This is what it should look like when it is listed as like new. And we got Anthem. Yes, I did buy Anthem. I think I paid like $8 for this, which you know, that's where I'll jump into the game and try it. This is something where I know people are going to be like, oh my god, Anthem, that game sucks, screw EA, this, that, and the other, but it seems like they are putting a pretty decent commitment into bettering the game and improving it and trying to hold whatever player base they have left, which probably isn't nearly as large as EA would hope for it to be. But when you can buy it for less than $10, sure, that's when I'll jump in, especially when it is apparently much better than how it came out. So Anthem was listed as used, good, comes in original case, works perfectly. Yeah, this is definitely a pretty good one. Just take off the residue and you're all set. Last game we have Wipeout, the Omega Collection. It looks very good. I've been wanting to buy this for a little bit now. I like Wipeout, I really do. I'm not very good at Wipeout. I don't know what it is about this game. I prefer arcadey racers to racing simulators. Obviously this is more arcadey, but I just can't, it doesn't translate well for me. I don't know what it is about Wipeout, but I still enjoy playing the game. Wipeout was listed as used, good, includes manual, cover art, and packaging. Definitely pretty good there, so good copy of Wipeout. This was a really interesting experiment. I actually went into this thinking, you know, Amazon's going to do just fine. They're, you know, pretty massive retailer. They have accurate listings, multiple sellers, you know, what it says is probably what you're going to get. And ooh, I'm disappointed to find that that really was not the case. And the worst offender was Amazon themselves, just because they were incredibly off base with their listings. And I would even argue that potentially if you were the kind of person that really cared so much about your cases and box art and the condition and that it looked exactly like it was described, that you could go to Amazon customer service, complain, and either get a refund.
Ja, wie doe ik het even aan de nummer staan. Vooral even als net gegaan is.
Or get a new copy. But otherwise, we had some surprises as well, where it said like new and it pretty much came sealed. But like we explained earlier, there are circumstances where a retailer will receive a game that's sealed, but they can't just resell it as a brand new game. They will sell it as what would be considered used. If anything, I'm more surprised with myself that I actually went and bought all these games sight unseen, because typically I always go straight to eBay, make sure I find a quality listing that's described perfectly. It is a picture of the game that I'm receiving, and it's a high resolution picture so I can thumb over it and really examine it to make sure it's absolutely what I want to purchase. I know it's ridiculous, but a part of me also just hates A, cleaning the stickers off, and B, having to shell out a few extra, dollars on the side to buy a genuine replacement case. But that's what you do when you like collecting video games. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet, please subscribe for the best PlayStation news, reviews, and updates that are here on YouTube, and more unboxings like these. We got more games coming, more random lots, consoles, products, accessory reviews, everything. You can also follow on Twitter at Mystic Ryan, and that is it, I think. So I will see you all in my next video. You take it easy.
Yeah. Dus allemaal weer voortland. oldu. Ой, дробики на соле. Genau, kanal bestreamen 1. Dat kan wel lastig. Story. 好的，就是。
Ready to grow your online sales? Google Shopping.
Waste another day, eyes on my display. You say we need a change, and I feel that you mean it. You mean it. But you're so right, we're losing track of time, buying things online, and it's not like we need them. We don't need them. So can we just slow down? The only thing I'll do is lay here next to you. We need to slow down. Embrace the love we found for you and our safe and sound. And we just slow down for you and our safe and sound. We were on the run, rocking around the clock. Now all we need is right here in front of us. In front of us. So can we just slow